But what I want to talk to you now about is how babies are smiling and laughing as they learn. So I don't know if you've had this experience. I definitely did in my time working in a baby lab in science. I don't think someone said it to my own baby, but I'm struggling to remember now because they're kind of 10 and 13. But there is this thing that happens a lot when people tell you that your newborn, when they're smiling, isn't really smiling, but it's wind, and it's just making that face happen. And that can be really sort of demoralizing as a parent, because you're seeing this positive cue from your newborn and you're thinking that they're enjoying your space of you and who you are and learning about each other, and someone tells you it's nothing to do with you. And so I'm here to say that I don't think that's true. And I think that smile, whether it's by mistake the very first time, soon becomes something that's incredibly important, because you smile back. And so then they smile and you smile back. And this thing keeps on happening when you're smiling and they're smiling and you're being positive and you're in a kind of lovely space when you're doing that with them. And it soon becomes a social cue, even if perhaps that very first one wasn't. People don't even know. Maybe that practice of a smile is something. We really don't understand properly as scientists, what happens for that first one that's there. Because what we can see with the fetus in the womb is if you eat something that's very bitter, like broccoli, your fetus, your baby growing there, has a disgusted face straight away. And so that just happens. They're disgusted, their face pulls back, and that happens before they've even seen anyone else do that. And so I really do think that's somewhere that we need to think about more. We really don't know for sure, but Baha'is say treat every smile like they're smiling at you for a reason, and it will be that way, maybe from the second time. I think that's something you need to remember about babies too, is that we often don't realise how clever they are. So you sort of think you need that accumulation of events for something to happen or for a baby to understand something. But actually, sometimes just one moment can be enough for them to learn something new. So remember that when you're thinking about the ways in which they're changing. And laughter. Boy, is that lovely. The first time you hear your baby giggle, it just makes your whole body sort of flush with excitement, and you sort of get butterflies, like something truly extraordinary has happened. The giggle is infectious and it's lovely the first time your baby does that. I can't remember the first time for my dailies, but I think one of the things we do know, and I can remember one instance I'll share with you, is that they like unexpected things. So I distinctly remember a time when my baby was about 4 months being held by my husband, his father, and he held him up, and I did a really stupid voice, which I could say here, and I'm going to be very embarrassed, but I kind of went, "Hey, baby," to him, and he just wet himself. He just laughed so much because my voice had never done that before, and he thought it was the most stupid thing ever, probably, and he was giggling fit to burst. And every time I did it for the next few days, he thought it was just the funniest thing ever. But guess what? Those babies quickly learn. And actually, over time, he then stopped finding that funny because it was less novel, it was less unusual. And so we know babies sort of trigger to those kind of unusual events. So lots of people tell you about this peekaboo, making your baby laugh and smile. And that does happen, but it stops after a while. And we think they often like this peekaboo around the time that they're trying to learn what happens to objects when they disappear. It's called object permanence. And it's when you start to realise that an object still exists, even when it moves out of view. And so while this is sort of happening, this kind of association with objects, that can be a really funny time for peekaboo for babies, because it's like you're disappearing and coming back again, so it's unexpected. Another thing that I wanted to share with you with that giggling and laughing is that it can happen in the strangest and oddest circumstances with different people and so make sure that your baby just gets those experiences with lots of people, because I think sometimes we don't know what it is that babies find the most interesting. But if you sort of think forward from this in terms of them finding unexpected things funny and good social experiences, you can imagine that the richer their social world, the more they experience people, the more kind of exciting and fun things that they can learn from. So, be a social bunny yourself and bring your baby into people's worlds.